Tonight, more details on a breach of trust by a now former Regina police officer. More charges in Regina's first homicide of the year. And keeping your vehicle running in the extreme cold.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Sentencing arguments were held today for former Regina police officer Rob Semenchuk, who pleaded guilty to breach of trust charges. And while a decision by the judge was reserved until next month, we learned just how many women were impacted by his unauthorized use of the police database. Donovan Mace has the details.
A Regina judge has reserved her sentencing decision in the case of former Regina police officer Robert Semenchuk, who used internal police databases to pursue personal relationships with women over the span of 8 years. Semenchuk pleaded guilty to breach of trust and unauthorized use of a computer charges in November. Now, according to an agreed statement of facts, the 22-year member of the Regina Police Service accessed the information of 33 women, with the Crown saying Semenchuk engaged in intimate relationships with more than 10 of them between February 2015 and April 2023. At times, he used an alias and lied about his name and occupation. Several of the victims appearing in court Friday reading victim impact statements, with one saying, "When I found out the sweet, kind, gentle Jay Lewis was actually Sergeant Robert Semenchuk of the Regina Police Service, my world came crashing down. I did not consent to an intimate relationship with Sergeant Robert Semenchuk." Another woman said, "I consented to intimacy with divorced engineer Steve Perkins." Now, many of the women claiming a loss of trust in all police officers, with another victim saying, "You had no right to take what was mine and what was supposed to be protected. When I learned of your actions, the feeling of invasion was intense." Regina Police Chief Laura Lee Davies also reading a statement to the court. "As leader of this organization, you've embarrassed me, all of your former co-workers and future members of the Regina Police Service, and you have caused profound and irreparable harm to numerous individuals in our community." Semenchuk then voicing his remorse in response. "To everyone that was affected by this, I am truly sorry." Now, the Crown and defense presented a joint sentencing submission to the court, asking for 2 years on house arrest and 3 years probation. Judge Marilyn Beaton says she will review this submission, but won't necessarily accept it, reserving her decision, which is now expected February 6th. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
A man charged with killing his wife in September of 2017 has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder before the start of his retrial. Now, back in 2020, Jason Daniel McKay was found guilty of second-degree murder of Jenny McKay and was sentenced to life in prison, but he appealed both his conviction and his sentence, with the Court of Appeal ruling in his favor, ordering a new trial. Now, the day before the new trial, McKay entered a plea of guilty to second-degree murder and will be sentenced next month. This morning, Alina Patush attempted to appeal her conviction and sentence that she received last Tuesday. She was sentenced to 3 years and 6 months in custody with 547 days of remand credit. Justice Catherine Dawson passed down the sentence at Court of King's Bench and also ordered the restitution of $4.9 million. Regina Police did confirm that Patush did turn herself in by noon today. That was the deadline. Regina Police have laid more charges against a man involved in the city's first homicide of the year. In the early morning hours of January 19th, officers discovered a body in a vehicle shortly after police tried to carry out a traffic stop. The aerial support unit led police to the vehicle, but the occupants got away. Earlier this week, 26-year-old Kobe Samuel Fiddler was charged with indignity to a dead body and flight from a peace officer. He is facing 3 more charges that include carrying a concealed weapon, accessory after the fact to murder. He appeared in court on the new charges this morning. RCMP have arrested and charged 2 men with multiple offenses, including kidnapping with a firearm after an incident in Yorkton on January 20th. On that day, a man was parked outside his residence on 4th Avenue North when 2 men with face coverings forced him into another vehicle, an SUV, and drove off. RCMP then located the vehicle on Highway 10, headed to Melville. The vehicle sped away but was found a short time later in the ditch. The victim had non-life-threatening injuries and knew the 2 suspects, and a search of the vehicle uncovered a firearm, ammunition, cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl. The 2 men, a 24-year-old and 20-year-old, both from Fort McMurray, face numerous charges, including kidnapping and possession for the purpose of trafficking. They both appeared in court yesterday. Regina's Urgent Care Center will temporarily reduce its operating hours again on Sunday. On that day, the center will be open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Usually it closes at 9:30 p.m. every day. The reason for the reduced hours is once again a physician availability issue. For an emergency during after hours, police are directed to call 911 or go to the ER at one of Regina's 2 hospitals. Well, along with the 3 warming shelters in Regina, the city is making the warming bus available at night for our current cold snap. Until Monday, January the 26th, the bus will be available from 8 p.m. to 9 a.m. and will drive back and forth from Carmel Outreach to the Neo-Yotina Friendship Center to All Nations Hope on 5th Avenue. The bus will have a driver, support staff from the Neo-Yotina Friendship Center, and security. Now, for motorists around Regina, you may have noticed a few stranded vehicles on the side of the Ring Road or other main avenues, and that's because temperatures this low can have a major impact on your vehicle. Jacob Carr has more on what motorists can do to keep their cars in working order.
This is a common and dreaded sound in a Saskatchewan cold snap, the last click and gasp of a vehicle's dead battery. But how do you prevent it when temperatures dip into the -30s?
The temperatures are real, and when we're in Saskatchewan, the best way to prepare for that is to actually be prepared. So think of your car as your body, right? You know, you have your battery, and that is really the lifeline of your car. So you first of all want to take care of that battery.
CAA recommends plugging in vehicles at -15 degrees Celsius and below, but the company says motorists should also have a checklist of things in their vehicle even when it is in working order.
Make sure that you have things like water. Make sure that you have non-perishable food, just some little snacks. You could have anything to do with helping you get out of a situation. So have a shovel, have some booster cables. Maybe make sure that you have a phone charger.
The extreme cold can also have a negative effect on a vehicle's tires. According to Cal Tire, a temperature decrease of 10 degrees can mean the loss of pressure up to 2 pounds per square inch in a tire.
In the past 3-4 days, it's dropped, 20-25 degrees Celsius. That means your tire could have gone down 4 or 6 pounds of pressure, and that's enough to cause a situation where the air pressure in that tire is no longer at operating pressure.
Cal Tire recommends checking tire pressure at least once a month, and Weeb says low tire pressure can cause a lot of problems.
Sometimes if it's a lower pressure, you'll have irregular wear patterns. You can have too much heat, believe it or not. On a day like today, we're talking about too much heat, but a tire will heat up if it's operated at low pressure, and it'll sustain some times irreparable damage.
So when the province's coldest days arrive, a little preparation and maintenance can make a difference, and it is better to be safe than sorry. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
All right, Sabine, it's time to tell us how cold it's going to be this weekend. I know everyone's dreading it.
I mean, did you like what was happening today?
Not really, no.
Okay, so that's exactly what's going to happen for tomorrow.
I have to work?
Yeah. You know what? Just stay indoors. Don't go anywhere, Lee. Are you okay? I think he just froze in the midst of these temperatures. Okay, let's get right to it. Yeah, the cold temperatures will continue. Relief is on the way, and it does look like now late Sunday afternoon we should start to see those wind chill values start to get back into what we would consider perhaps a little bit normal temperature-wise. But in terms of temperatures right now, there's a bit of a delay. We still have the warnings in effect. In terms of temperatures right now, we're still sitting well below what the daytime high usually is for this time of year. So we're still nearing the -30s, if not right within the -30s. And of course, the wind chill value is still sitting in the -40s for many parts of the province, including right here in Regina. The southwest seeing a wind chill of about -30 for Maple Creek. But like I said, a relief is on the way, and I'll talk more about that in your forecast. Lee?
I'm back. Well, with the cold snap expected to stick around for a few days, as Sabine mentioned, Saskatoon fire officials are asking the public to bundle up if possible, stay indoors. They're also asking the public to use extra caution, saying the extreme cold increases the risk for house fires and carbon monoxide incidents. Stacey Hine has more.
It may look and feel like the Arctic has taken over the prairies, and in a manner of speaking, it has. A ridge of high pressure is driving frigid Arctic air into the region, sending temperatures plunging.
Bitterly cold temperatures, overnight lows, in maybe even into the -40s in some areas. Daytime highs only in the mid -20s.
In some areas, wind chills are expected to be in the -40s and 50s, which can cause frostbite in minutes.
And the colder the wind chill is, it means frostbite happening more quickly.
The Saskatoon Fire Department says the extreme cold can increase the risk for house fires, urging residents to take precautions when using a space heater or fireplace.
We want to make sure that we are using them correctly and according to manufacturers' recommendations, that we are providing the proper space around them.
Fire officials also recommend checking exterior exhaust and intake systems. If they freeze, it puts pressure on your furnace, leading to incomplete combustion and potentially dangerous carbon monoxide buildup.
It'll announce carbon monoxide and then go into an alarm.
Fire Marshal Ryan Bradley stresses the importance of having a carbon monoxide detector.
And we also want to make sure that we do have a carbon monoxide monitor on at least every level of our floor, specifically those levels that we sleep on and those levels that we do have those fuel burning appliances on.
Symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning include headaches, nausea, and dizziness. Bradley says it may be difficult to differentiate between those symptoms and flu symptoms, but says a major giveaway is that everyone in the house is experiencing the same symptoms, or you no longer notice the symptoms when you leave the home.
The cold snap is expected to stick around for a few more days, with some reprieve coming Monday. Temperatures forecasted in the mid-teens. Stacey Hahn, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Rapid growth in White City and Emerald Park has prompted a renewed call for school construction funding. The Prairie Valley School Division believes both a high school and another elementary facility are needed. Previous requests to the provinces failed to make the priority list, so the school division has modified its approach. Wayne Mantika tells us how.
The two elementary schools in White City and Emerald Park are operating at capacity, and there is no high school. Construction has long been on the priority list for the Prairie Valley School Division.
On our list for this year is a new school in the White City Emerald Park area, an elementary school in the Lumsden area, and the consolidation of two schools in the Grenfell area into one K-12.
Previous requests for provincial funding have yet to be approved. This year, the school division is changing its approach. It is simply asking the province for a school, without saying what kind.
We're just looking at, we know we're going to need a school in that area, and we know there's growth, and so we're keeping our options open so that we can at the time assess what's the best route to go.
White City and Emerald Park students are bused to high school in Balgony. The province has approved a $21 million project to modernize Greenall High School and slightly expand its capacity. White City believes it needs its own high school.
White City continues to experience, residential growth, and the enrollment pressures within the existing schools are increasing as more families want to make White City and White City community their home.
Any approval from the province would come in the spring budget. The NDP opposition believes the projects should go ahead.
In White City and Emerald Park, year one, Carla Beck and the Saskatchewan NDP will have those schools under construction, full stop.
The Prairie Valley School Division feels modernization of the high school in Balgony won't take away the need for a high school in White City and Emerald Park as well. The entire region is growing rapidly. Discussions will continue with the province on what the next school project priority should be. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Balgony.
Saskatoon has added new affordable housing units as part of the country's efforts to respond to the housing crisis. 73 new housing units are open in Métis Veterans Plaza in Saskatoon, a joint partnership between the province, the federal government, the City of Saskatoon, Camponi Housing Corporation, and Sask Native Rentals. It includes 37 market rental units, 19 affordable units, and 17 accessible one-bedroom units. Camponi says this project started more than a decade ago.
This plaza is not just a place to live, it is a place to belong, to practice culture, to reconnect and to rebuild the systems of care that have always sustained us.
I think it stands right now as a shining example of what we can do based on what they've been able to achieve here.
Federal government's national housing strategy is a 10-plus year, $115 billion plus plan to give more Canadians a home. Well, the Moose Jaw Humane Society started out originally in a house, eventually moving to their current location. Now the long-time running animal shelter is in need of more space, and they're looking for the public support. Mick Fable has the details.
Outside of the Moose Jaw Humane Society, a new sign dedicated to their fundraising campaign for a new building. The current building is 40 years old and is pushing past its lifespan.
We've done everything that we possibly can to kind of keep this building going, and we're out of tricks and tips. So it is time for us to move forward with a new building so that we can create more space and keep the animals healthier and happier while they stay with us, waiting for their forever families.
The building is now home to cats, dogs, and a guinea pig or two. A little more added space would improve their overall health.
The adoptions aren't going as quickly as they used to, and pets are staying with us for a longer period of time. So it's important that they have the space that they need to stretch, to feel comfortable, and again, show that true personality to the potential adopter that comes to meet them.
There is excitement about the possibility of a new building, but it's business as usual at the Humane Society. Right now, there's a 15-year low in the number of cats up for adoption. For dogs, it's a different story.
It used to be that, everybody wanted a dog, and our dog turnover was super quick. There's the odd dog that has, maybe can't live with another dog or couldn't live with cats, who would stay with us for a little bit longer. But now we're seeing even young puppies staying with us for a longer period of time.
So far, $2 million have been raised with a goal of $5 million to complete the construction of the new facility. September 2028 is the hopeful move-in date. For those looking to donate, they can do so online or by calling the Humane Society.
We're really lucky. Moose Jaw is a huge animal-loving community, and they step up for our shelter all the time. So we're really hoping that we get to that $5 million goal sooner than later.
Mick Fable, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
After the break, the FBI arrests Canadian drug mogul Ryan Wedding in Mexico City. And looking at what Canada's armed forces are doing right now to protect the Arctic.
Tonight, retracing a young Canadian woman's final hours.
If Kiera was running to try to get away from someone, she almost made it.
We travel to Mexico searching for answers in the unsolved killing.
They're trying to say that it was cartel.
One theory leads us to the Sinaloa cartel.
The cartel have the control of everything.
Tonight on CTV News and ctvnews.ca.
Former Canadian Olympic snowboarder turned international fugitive Ryan Wedding is now in the custody of the FBI after a manhunt ended in Mexico City. The 44-year-old was on the agency's top 10 most wanted list for allegedly running a violent drug trafficking network. Kamel Kalamali has the latest.
This is a moment more than a decade in the making. Former Canadian Olympian Ryan Wedding in handcuffs, surrounded by police, brought to U.S. soil to face a litany of charges. The 44-year-old from Thunder Bay, Ontario, arrested last night in Mexico City. A Mexican official saying today a Canadian voluntarily surrendered at the U.S. Embassy.
This is what a united front looks like.
It marks the end of a manhunt spanning an entire continent and coordination between police in 3 countries.
Here we are today, bringing him to justice for trafficking hundreds of kilos of cocaine and also for the murder of innocent civilians.
Wedding was first wanted by the RCMP in 2015. After fleeing Canada, he allegedly began building a multi-billion-dollar drug smuggling empire, trafficking tons of cocaine to the U.S. and Canada each year. Last year, finding himself on the FBI's 10 most wanted list after being accused of orchestrating the murder of a federal witness who was set to testify against him. He allegedly ordered a hit on a home in Caledon, Ontario that mistakenly resulted in the killing of an innocent family. The Bureau offering a $15 million reward for his capture, the heat ramping up in November when RCMP arrested several of his associates in Canada and Mexican authorities seized millions of dollars of his assets.
You're going to find a lot more other individuals who are going to come forward and say, listen, I'd rather give you the information. I'll tell you, I'll testify. Just don't put me in jail.
We will not comment on anyone regarding the rewards.
Few details released by officials today, with many left waiting for answers, including those who knew him.
In some ways, I can understand, the path that he took just because of the lack of funding in Canadian sport in general.
Wedding will be held in custody over the weekend, facing a list of charges related to murder and drug trafficking, with his first court appearance slated for Monday morning. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
The young Canadian backpacker who was found dead on an Australian beach earlier this week was likely not directly killed by a pack of wild dogs, according to an autopsy. The coroner's office says a preliminary assessment on 19-year-old Piper James suggests the death was caused by drowning. While her body was surrounded by dingoes when it was discovered, they did not appear to have been the cause of the death. The coroner also says there is no evidence another person was involved. With Arctic security front and center, Canada's role in the North is being scrutinized by allies and adversaries alike. Heather Wright is in the Northwest Territories and has more on what Canadian troops are doing there.
Well, we are here with Joint Task Force North in Yellowknife, some of the members of the Canadian Armed Forces deployed up here in the north. And with so much attention on the Arctic and Arctic security, we know that protecting Canada's Arctic is not just having radar systems or having military bases, it's also having a presence. And so that's what these members are doing today. They're out on the snowmobile, they're doing training exercises, part of this ongoing deployment in the north, and it's also getting used to living and working and serving in these harsh conditions. It's minus 30 right now, minus 40 with the wind chill, and that's something that these troops, that these Canadian Armed Forces members have to deal with every single day as they are out here serving in the Arctic and having a presence here in Yellowknife and beyond.
Visibility, presence, definitely one, are part of our mission here, and we're covering like 40% of Canada's landmass, 75% of its coastline, and through 4 time zones.
The federal government has committed to spending billions of dollars more on the Canadian Armed Forces, and that includes money for Arctic security. And even earlier this week, Prime Minister Mark Carney said part of solving the crisis with Greenland is beefing up security here in the north. Heather Wright, CTV News, Yellowknife.
University of Manitoba is taking a major step forward in the field of vaccine development and biomanufacturing. Not by digging, but because they've announced the creation of 2 new research facilities. The first at the Fort Garry campus is the Prairie Biologics Accelerator. It's built as kind of a 5-story, 21,000 square foot biosecure facility aimed at speeding up the development of vaccines and therapeutics. The other is the One Health Emerging Respiratory Disease Center. It will also host a secure laboratory with specialized testing facilities for studying the effects of viruses on animals. VP of Research and International Mario Pinto expects that the Fort Garry facility will be up and running within 2 years, while the smaller facility should be ready within a year. And more than half of the U.S. is bracing for possible ice, snow, and freezing temperatures from a massive winter storm.
I am declaring a state of emergency in the District of Columbia, effective now. We are also requesting vehicle support from the D.C. National Guard to ensure our first responders are able to move around the city during the storm.
People from Texas to New England are stocking up as at least 177 million Americans are under watches or warnings for ice and snow, and more than 200 million were under cold weather advisories or warnings. In many places, those overlapped. The storm is forecast to move into the south with freezing rain and sleet, then into the northeast, dumping about 30 centimeters of snow. Federal officials have more than 7 million meals ready, along with 600,000 blankets and 300 generators, and more than 1,000 flights were delayed or canceled today. Coming up, a former Prince Albert resident and lacrosse player hits the small screen with Canada's newest reality show.
Monday on Your Morning Saskatchewan, addressing domestic violence. We have details on a new training program from Women's Shelters Canada on how you can help out. It all starts at 6.
It's still cold outside, and it's getting colder as we head into the evening and to the overnight. Warnings remain as well right across the province, currently sitting at minus 31 in Regina. Did see a nice warm up of minus 28 late this afternoon, and as we head into this evening again, we'll see these temperatures drop a few more degrees. Minus 31 right now, as I just mentioned, and the wind chill is sitting at minus 39. Later into the evening, we will see those wind chills get back into the minus 40s, and then the overnight, last I checked, we could see in the early morning hours of tomorrow wind chills in around minus 46, minus 47. So another incredibly cold day tomorrow, continuing actually from tonight into tomorrow. But I don't really have much to show you when it comes to active weather. We do have a little bit of that cloud cover rolling in tonight into the morning, and we will see some cloud cover mostly in western Saskatchewan tomorrow morning. Then eventually we'll start to see the clouds breaking up by late afternoon tomorrow. Mostly still expecting a mix of sun and cloud conditions for much of the province, and that'll also continue as we head into Sunday. Sunday starting off the day mainly clear, and that'll continue. By the time we get into Sunday night into Monday, though, there is some cloud cover rolling in from the north, and there is a slight chance we could see some snow coming through, and you could see it kind of clip through in the northeastern part of Saskatchewan tomorrow. But it is by Monday, we are expecting to see that low pressure system moving in, so we will start to see the temperatures come back close to seasonal, and we will also expect to see cloudier conditions and some wind. Not as bad as what we have seen in the past, but we'll still see the winds picking back up compared to what we have been seeing over the last little while. Haven't really been seeing some strong wind gusts. Temperatures tonight, though, continuing to be well below the average. Average lows usually for this time of year, we're hovering around about minus 20, minus 21 up to minus 30, or excuse me, 23. That's usually the average low. And you can see we're seeing many of those lows in the minus 30s. For daytime highs, usually about minus 10, minus 11 to about minus 13. So we're still well below the average when it comes to these temperatures. But like I said, we do have a relief in those temperatures coming, and that's not until Monday. Tomorrow, minus 21 for Saskatoon, a mix of sun and cloud, minus 31 for Yorkton. The southwest, a little warmer, expecting a slight chance of some precipitation there. Minus 23 tonight, which is an average low, and then minus 17 tomorrow for Maple Creek with some light snowfall throughout the day. Swift Current, minus 21 tomorrow, minus 24, and cloudy for Moose Jaw. Over in the southeast, still seeing temperatures cool there, minus 23 and cloudy for Weyburn, and Assiniboia and Estevan, cloudy and minus 22 is the expected high. For Regina tonight, minus 35. Again, expect the wind chills, within the minus 40s, probably about minus 44, minus 45. And then tomorrow, another chilly day, minus 26, nothing but clear conditions. And even tonight and tomorrow, wind sitting at about 10 kilometers an hour. So not bad when it comes to the wind speed. For the next 5 or 7 days, here's a look at what we can expect. So minus 26 tomorrow with a low of minus 36. And then gradually we see a little bit of a relief on Sunday because the low, minus 22, is within that average range. But minus 21 is the expected daytime high. By Monday, though, we're back closer to those seasonal temperatures. Minus 15, winds up to 40 kilometers an hour, and a mix of sun and cloud. Tuesday, more cloud cover rolling in, minus 14. Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud and minus 14. And then by the time we get into Thursday, this is right where we're getting into that average mark of about minus 11, mostly cloudy conditions. Minus 16 is the low, so warmer than average. And then by Friday, minus 9, a mix of sun and cloud, but we do see some high wind gusts coming back. Winds up to 55 kilometers an hour. And then the week after, we're actually expecting to see those temperatures get even warmer than average. And the single digits around, as of right now, hovering around minus 3, minus 2. So we're going to see a big change heading into the beginning of February, which is a great time of year. So
there's hope on the horizon.
There is hope, Lee.
Thank you very much.
I don't know what's happening.
Well, with reality shows like The Amazing Race Canada, Survivor, Big Brother, we've seen a decent amount of people from Saskatchewan that have hit the small screen. As Jasmine Pelche tells us, a Prince Albert lacrosse player is looking to be the next reality star in Canada's own Jersey Shore spin-off series.
My name is Bowers Fuston. I'm a lacrosse player. Yeah, that one went right through.
Prince Albert's Bauer Swiston is hitting the small screen and making his reality TV debut as one of the main cast members on Jersey Shore spin-off series Canada Shore. Shot in Kelowna, the show brings together 10 young singles for what it describes as a whirlwind season of romance, friendships, and full-throttle fun. Swiston grew up in Prince Albert before leaving to pursue his lacrosse career. When he was scouted for the show, he says it was an opportunity he couldn't pass up.
Was just living in South Carolina at the time. I think it was about just over a year ago, as last November, I think. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, who knows what this could open up for me?
The reality star is now based in Ontario.
There's definitely aspects. I miss a summer in Prince Albert, nothing like going to the lake, grandpa's cabin, summer, winter, being able to ice fish, go sledding. It's can't do a lot of that stuff here. So I definitely take advantage of opportunities when I'm able to go home.
His sister says when he first told his family he was scouted for the show, they could hardly believe it.
We're like, Bauer, this isn't real. Like, you're a boy from PA.
The family celebrated the premiere with a watch party.
I hope everyone likes him. We were really nervous. We were like, what's Bauer going to be like? Like, we think we know what Bauer's like, but who knows? But we're really proud of him. And the first 2 episodes, he did a really good job. And we're excited to see what the rest of the season has for him.
Canada Shore premiered Thursday on Paramount+. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Still ahead, the Riders re-sign American kicker Michael Hughes. Brett Lothar will have some serious competition at Riders training camp this year as the Riders are bringing back American kicker Michael Hughes.
Ball's been popping off his leg pretty good so far tonight. And he makes no mistake there. Lots of leg to go on that one.
Hughes was brought in last year with Lothar struggling. He appeared in one game, making all his kicks, 2 field goals, 1 from 42 yards and 2 extra points. Last season, Winnipeg was the only CFL team that used an American kicker constantly. In WHL tonight, the Moose Jaw Warriors look to earn at least a point for the 4th straight game as they host the Victoria Royals. Last night, they gave the conference leaders, PA Raiders, a bit of a test.
Boritz, Steranka, back to Carter, speed on the right wing, drives in, scores!
Colt Carter, that kind of sounds like an alias name, tied things up at 2, would go to the shootout, but Aiden Oring would score the only goal, giving the Raiders a 3-2 win. Raiders back in action as well tonight. They will face Swift Current, and the Regina Pats are in Lethbridge. U of S Husky men's hockey team are playing more than some crucial games on the ice this weekend.
We'd really like to just thank everyone that supported Cody's legacy over the years and continues to keep his spirit alive within the rink and outside the rink.
Those were Cody Smuck's parents. It is the annual Play for a Cure game on Saturday. Alumni player Cody Smuck's going to be honored. He played in the WHL as well with the Moose Jaw Warriors before joining the Huskies in 2010. He lost his battle with cancer back in 2015. The team will be raising money to fund cancer treatment equipment at the Saskatoon Cancer Center. Last weekend, the women's hockey team wore special pink jerseys and raised more than $19,000 for the Cancer Center. Well, Canada has been known as decades as a hockey-crazed nation, a rite of passage for young kids growing up playing the sport. But new numbers confirm that many more Canadian children are scoring goals on the field, not the ice. Andrew Johnson looks into the ascent of soccer.
Go, 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Under the lights in Vancouver.
Remember, guys, we have to accelerate with the ball.
Canadian winter for these kids is spent on the field, not at the rink.
When I go outside, it just makes me feel happy. It's really fun.
They're part of a Canadian generation now overwhelmingly choosing soccer over hockey.
This has been his sport since he was like 2 years old. Messi and Ronaldo. And so those were the 2 guys that he looked up to, and it's just something that came naturally to him.
According to a new report by Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities, half of young Canadians play soccer, making it the most widely played youth sport in the country. More than twice the number who play hockey.
I think it's so accessible. Kids can play at school, at recess, at lunch. All you need is a ball and a wall.
It's multicultural.
You don't need to speak to get a, friendship. You just have to play soccer.
The popularity of soccer also comes down to cost. The report says families spent 4 times more to put a child in hockey.
This keeps them off of video games, which I feel is way more expensive.
Like hockey, the report confirms soccer is attracting more boys than girls. A stat Sloan Rodriguez is experiencing firsthand. What's it like being the only girl on a boys' team?
It feels a bit awkward.
What hasn't changed is the positive power of sport. 96% of families say they believe it improves their children's physical health. 93% point to mental health benefits. Now that's a win. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead, stopping illegal fishing in the province of Nova Scotia.
Director Alex. Okay, let's get to your rural forecast tomorrow. Sunshine continues, and so do the frigid temperatures. That's basically all I have for you. We're going to see mainly sunny conditions for much of what we're looking at now, except we do have, coming in from the west and the southwest, cloudier conditions and even a slight chance of seeing some light snow now that I've looked back at our map of what's to come. I'll talk more about that as we get into the southern half here, but in terms of Hudson Bay, mainly sunny, -27, -29 for Melfort and Wynyard, and over in areas like Kindersley, cloudy, -22, Outlook, cloudy, -26, Meadow Lake, -26, and a mix of sun and cloud. Now, when we get into areas closer to the southern border, Maple Creek could see some light snow come through, -17, -21 for Leader, -23 for Rosetown, and -31 for Kenora, -23 for Carlisle, Lumsden, and Pilot Butte, mainly sunny and -26. But if we take a closer look at Leader, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, -21 is the expected daytime high. Expecting cloudy conditions, but could actually see trace amounts of light snow coming through during the day. A wind chill of -28 is expected for the daytime high, and then drop into -30 for the low, with a wind chill of -39 by the evening.
Nova Scotia is getting tougher on illegal fishing. The province says the shady practices cost millions and hurt the industry. Jesse Thomas has details.
And hopefully it's enough of a dollar value that deters illegal activity.
The province has added more than 30 new summary offences under the Fisheries and Coastal Resources Act that'll see higher fines issued for fraud and falsifying records, with repeat offenders paying double the initial fine that jumps from $5,000 to $10,000. And those caught buying or processing illegally caught seafood would face fines of $25,000 for first offence and double if caught again.
Because it's one thing to actually hire the inspectors and to put them on the wharf to do the work, and it's the second thing to actually give them the tools to do that job efficiently.
We don't want to see anyone charged or apprehended, but hopefully that people will stay in line and adhere to these conservation measures.
In November, the province announced the creation of a dedicated fisheries enforcement unit. Those in the industry see these new summary offences and increased fines as giving officers stronger tools to curb illegal fishing practices and protect the lucrative industry. The province estimates that 30% of lobster landings go unreported, representing roughly $400 million in lost taxable revenue for the province.
So if we could recoup some of that, even some of that $400 million, I think we'd be taking a big step in the right direction.
Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
All green arrows so far for the farm market boards. Canola street price up 30 cents to $593.82 per ton. The futures price up $5.60 to $651.70 per ton. Keep going up. Amber durum wheat stayed the same, $274.92 per ton. Red spring wheat up just a couple pennies to $258.20 per ton. Feed barley stayed the same, $213.59 per ton. And after that drop by flax, no movement. It's $575.54 per ton. Prices courtesy of Bunge. Markets, the TSX went up 142 points, while the Dow Jones went the other way, down 285 points. The Canadian dollar's gone up the last 2 or 3 days, and look at that, it's gone over the 73 mark. Almost a half a cent to 73.01 cents US. On the commodity front, gold up $51.47, up big again. West Texas Intermediate crude up $1.71, while Western Canadian Select crude is down $1.55. And gas in Regina, no movement. It's $1.25.9 per litre.
Retail sales came in over $70 billion in November, with Canadians spending more for food and drinks. The end of a labor disruption in BC helped push sales of beer, wine and liquor up over 14% month over month. Canadians also spent more on health and personal care products. Retail sales were up across 7 provinces, with Alberta leading in dollar amount of sales. Silver hit a new record today, moving above $100 an ounce for the first time. The trade rift between the U.S. and Europe has investors looking to precious metals to park their money. The price of silver doubled last year and is up almost 40% so far this year. Intel stock took a nosedive today after the company reported earnings on Thursday. Shares were down over 17%. Intel makes computer components, and the CEO says it won't be able to manufacture enough chips to meet escalating demand. It is also forecasting revenue for its next quarter to come in lower than analysts expected. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Well, let's see what's coming up tonight after the newscast. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, then Happy's Place. What were you excited about there?
The Big Bang Theory's back.
Stumble, Boston Blue, then the Big Bang Theory E-Talk, and then we've got your news coming up.
It hasn't been on there in a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite things to see. The Calgary Zoo hosting quite the walk this week.
They are a little bit more curious than I usually see them.
13 king penguins went on a walk Wednesday morning, much to the delight of parents and children who came out to watch. It's the 14th year of the Calgary Zoo's Penguin Walk. The birds get to take a 10-minute waddle around the park, which the zoo says is great for them. They say penguins walk a lot in their native environment, and the exercise is great. So the first walk of the season is a little later than usual this year because of the extreme cold earlier this month, for Calgary anyway. The Penguin Walk isn't held when it is minus 25 or colder, or warmer than +5, which we are getting none of that.
All that shuffling reminds me taking the kids to Agribition when I volunteered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a lot longer than 15 minutes.
At least staying in one line and not
spread out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, this Ottawa Morning Show blooper may bring you some joy on this cold January day.
Perfect. So we're going to go down into a squat.
Oh my God, no.
And they literally
I'm not even kidding you.
CTV Your Morning, Ottawa's Will Aiello discovered why you don't wear a suit while doing squats. Rip the pants during a segment on the show. And this morning, luckily, his co-host Melissa Lamb was close by to make sure that they can cover him up.
I'm sure she shows up soon enough.
Yep. Don't see it.
Nope.
That's just a replay.
Won't.
Yeah, we're not going to see the cover up. But yeah, it happens. Happened to me in the newsroom once when I was showing what baseball players do. Yeah. But it didn't happen on air because I'm sure viewers would have said something. They always say stuff when weird things happen. But anyway, have a good weekend. It is cold out. Stay warm.